Right, welcome back, viewers, to another edition of Heads Up. And gee, this time last week, Goat, it was a bit damper down your way. It wasn't too bad up here in Auckland, as it is all the time. But last week, Trentham races were called off because of the surface water. You were
we were down at Wellington Friday night. Was a bit rough Friday night, but Saturday morning it just overnight really just didn't stop raining, and there was no surprise when you got the message come through that the races had been abandoned. Disappointing for the club. They had a big on-course attendance ready to invade Trentham, but that's racing and winter racing. So good to see those two feature jumps races did get run yesterday at Hastings, but disappointing. There's something about that figure eight steeplechase course at Trentham that is pretty unique, but that's racing. And the one thing in life we can't control, Neil, is the weather.
Yeah, dead right. And one thing we can't control too is people knocking at your front door. They were just coming into the straight for Yardarm's race yesterday, and they got a knock at the front door. It was the electrician coming to wire up something for me, but I had to pause it. So think that my bouquet goes to Sky for having the pause on the Sky Dakotas. It was great.
What an amazing finish again, 5,500 metres and a nose decision. And actually, as they crossed the line, I think T. Lee favoured the inside horse, and watching it, I would have favoured the inside horse too, but on the slow-mo, you could tell the outside got up. So great contest, those two going to war the last, about 400 metres.
Yeah, never in doubt. So that was a great race. Rooster's all okay?
Yes. The trainer rang me this morning, said he's lost a few feathers. But no, he's going to progress down to Christchurch, but I don't think 5,600 will suit him, so he'll probably stick to the shorter distances. Bit of a hard horse to follow, old Rooster, I have to say. Hope people aren't losing too much money on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we've got Gerda coming up later on, so we can mention her in the preview in a sec. Right, and now racing-wise, we've mentioned that. Sports-wise, last week, State of Origin. What an amazing game that was.
Yeah, to be honest, Neil, I didn't watch it, and I can honestly say, and you're probably you can't be serious. I didn't even know it was on.
You can't be serious. Huh?
I am. Was it Sunday night? Wasn't it?
No, it was Wednesday night. Oh no, it was a Sunday night, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a Sunday night. But a Wednesday.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Seriously, I was more focused on the golf, Neil.
Oh, that was great. The golf was great, wasn't it? No, and guess who backed the winner?
Well, you probably did.
No, it wasn't me. It was the bro. He was happy.
Yeah, I've had a few people tell me they back Morikawa.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. Great. He's a future star, isn't he? You know, 2 debut wins at two opens and wins them both. So
yeah. You had a few words on the State of Origin though?
Oh yeah, it was just the mental side of it. You know more about it than me, but having played sport too, it's got to be a great advantage being at home and something to play for. Now, they're up for a dicking, weren't they? 3 in a row. They had everything to play for when New South Wales didn't. So was that the difference, you reckon? Well, you didn't see the game.
You'd have to say so based on the turnaround of the scores. It's an interesting one. And if you equate that across to horse racing, it's about, identifying horses like, and we'll touch on this horse later on, say a horse like Just Ask Me. In its first 2 runs this campaign, you knew that it wasn't the grand final. Obviously, yes, the horse is still trying, but you'd be hesitant to back a horse at a reasonably short quote when you know that, 1, there's probably more improvement in it, and 2, just probably short of its best. And same with sport, New South Wales, as you say, didn't have a hell of a lot to play for. But good to see Queensland. I guess it will just help ticket sales for next year, assuming that they'll be able to get crowds again by this time next year. But yeah, you wouldn't have wanted Queensland to get thrashed 3 times in a row, would you?
No, shivers, no. It was just intriguing to me. But yeah, the golf was great too. Right? Any other sport? Oh no. Actually, one other thing I would have mentioned. Oh, we've mentioned that. Yep.
We can segue in the English football team.
Yeah. I watched the whole game. It was great to watch.
It would be a tough watch when they save the first penalty. You think, well, here we go. England got the upper hand here, but bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang. Was
Yeah.
it 3 misses in a row, wasn't it?
It
I
was,
think.
yeah. And they're going to think what are going to be the long-term effects mentally on that young fella who missed the last penalty there, and they racially slurred and backstabbed and all sorts of stuff. How's that going to affect him for the rest of his life? You know, it's
At the end of the day, it is only a game of sport.
that's
but
right.
People don't think that, and especially those fans, they're crazy, aren't they? Just some of the video footage of different situations and
Yeah.
incidents, not good viewing, that's for sure.
No. Anyway, that like you say, it's just a game, but it is sport, and it's such a public thing. When they make such a terrible mistake, everyone sees it. Millions or billions probably saw that, and it was a great game. Okay, racing tomorrow. You aren't at New Plymouth yet? No?
No, I'll be up there in a couple of hours, but I think that might get a few showers this afternoon, and so I don't think the track will be puggy. It will be a heavy 11. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
So it'll be survival of the fittest, you'd have to say, but they should get through it. So not a bad field, I thought, for the Opunake Cup, sponsored by Powerworks. 2:50 p.m. race 5, New Plymouth, headed up by our old friend Popstar Princess, having her last start under Fred and Lindsay Cornegay's care. You got Tavis Court, very good winner last start. London Express, the local, has been very consistent. Springtide, perhaps the up-and-comer. And Just Ask Me, the money horse. As you can see, it's moved now into $3.80 favourite. I'd say third up, Blinkers On is the big watch factor for me with Just Ask Me. And the rest of them, I couldn't see winning. I think the winner will come from one of those ones we mentioned. You're a fan of Just Ask Me, are you, Neil?
Definitely. After looking at the speed map, there just seems to be plenty of speed there. They aren't going to dawdle this race. They won't give it to Popstar Princess in front, you'd think. And depending how the track's playing, because it can play up and in, can't it? Often there.
It generally is up and in, I have to say.
Yeah. So race 5, it should be playing fairly, hopefully. But just if you're going to have a punt on Just Ask Me, I'd actually wait, because she or he is going to get back. Let's have a look. He, 5-year-old. This should be his season. Man, he beat Tabby Court twice last season, an open handicaps, Wanganui and Trentham. And he's just a really good horse. Like you say, Blinkers going on, third up. I think his sectional was the quickest all day at Te Rapa. Just the way he was ridden, you could see it was just okay, let's clean him up for this. And at 380 though, and a back runner, I'd definitely wait until you see how the track's playing before you get stuck into him. Springtide, how's he going to go?
Well, you can't knock his last 2 starts. Change of jockey, Sarah McNabb having a well-earned holiday down in Queenstown with her partner Sam O'Malley, who's making great progress from that terrible fall a few weeks ago at Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
So change of rider, Jonathan Parks takes the mount. He'd be a chance, Springtide. I think his work's been up to the mark. Obviously, a step up in class again, but the way he won it, Hawke's Bay, I wouldn't have him out of this, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, he's a good horse. I'll tell you one for a roughie, and it actually rates on top in the Form Pro ratings after weight adjustments. And there is a case for it. Number 8, Mont Vento, paying $21, probably pay $121 by the time the race starts. But freshened up, blinkers go on. It's won at Ellerslie over 1400, won September here last year over 1800 meters coming from the back. If they go hard, it could be a horse that could get out wide and blouse them. But
couldn't have it.
For a place, chuck it in for a make sure it's in your first 4s. It could do
2100 back to 1400 in 4 weeks. Yeah,
there's always reasons why horse
performance if it can win. But to me, that's a 2000 meter horse plus. It won't have the speed in its legs to win this race.
You could be right, but there's always a reason why you can find a horse can get beaten. But
yeah, absolutely.
For a place starts, your top 4 to be $3 or $4 anyway. But don't leave it out of your first 4s anyway.
All right, good luck.
I might need that. Okay. Anything else racing tomorrow? Oh, I've got Gerda. I've got to mention Gerda.
Yeah, Gerda's in at Te Rapa race 4. And obviously it's a last start winner, trained on well. Why go to Te Rapa when there was a race at New Plymouth for her where she's trained? answer slightly better track conditions.
Mm.
And as it's turned out, it's probably come up a much easier field in reality.
Yeah.
With only 6 opponents and oh, geez, someone's had a bet. 4's into 360 already. I'd say that's the BGP money going on. Drawn 1, Danielle Johnson, small field, so she shouldn't get too far off them.
Yeah.
You remember her last race at Tirapa, she would have been 15 lengths off the leader at the 800 and got beaten about 2 lengths.
Yeah.
So 7-horse field, she should only be 6 or 8 lengths off them at the 800 and hopefully can go close. Max Beal, obviously the one to beat, but I think Gerda might go back to back actually, Neil.
No, it's good to hear. No, I think up to a mile too is going to definitely help. So no, good luck there. I think she's obviously a good bet, and like we say, the boys get paid. Got them.
All the people that put their money on last start, if they go again, hopefully she rewards them. I think she was the best or the worst result for the bookies, the best result for the punters all day a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So yeah, she's getting a bit of a cult following for a battling rating 74 horse.
Yeah. I don't know. She's good. So rightio. Last question was, what was the last cup the English team won, and what year?
Yep, in the football, obviously they've won 1 World Cup, and it was 1966. Would you believe, Neil? That long ago, back when you were probably just finishing university.
Where was I then? Oh, I was still at primary school.
Oh, yeah. It was primary school. Primary school was the best 15 years of your life.
No, those days are well and truly gone. I can't remember them now, but the Alzheimer's is setting in. Rightio. Excuse me for a sec. New question.
No.
Oh, we better draw first, eh? 8 people.
Yeah. 8 people. Let's go down almost the middle. Number 4.
Number 4, Aaron P. Good on you, Aaron. Big tick for you. I'll post your bet tomorrow and by lunchtime and see how we go.
New question.
New question, definitely. One of your favourite races.
Yeah, I think we touched on this a few weeks ago, didn't we? So, Opunake Cup does have good memories, I have to say, and in particular the year 2012 when a grey horse, ironically enough, ridden by Jonathan Parkes, went straight to the front, increased the lead, and sprinted home and won basically by about 5 lengths from memory, paying a princely, I think it was $28 or $29 for the win. And yes, I think I was the only one in the grandstand cheering for it, Neil.
You definitely were. You go back to the replay of the race and hear some guy screaming his head off. Guess who it was?
What was the name of that horse that won the 2012 Opunake Cup? He was a grey. That's a bit of a clue.
What number was he? You remember?
He was right down. He was right down the bottom.
Yeah.
I think it was number 15 from memory. Didn't he? I think he might have even been the first ballot.
I think he was, yeah.
15, yeah. If there was a 40, yeah. I only watch it about every 6 months, Neil.
It was a great day. And there's a Punters Cup on there tomorrow, is there? Or?
Yeah, going to be a big old go Punters Comp. I'm predicting, I'd say the turnover in the punters room will go close to 150,000, maybe more, just in that one room.
Gee, and what's the format?
Just $500 buy-in, bet wherever you like, up till a certain time. I think it's about 4 o'clock, and then it finishes at about 6:30. So you must turn over your 500 by 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and you may have a secret weapon that some of those punters could use or listen to in between races. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so we always like to break a bit of news here on the Heads Up podcast, and I think everyone's well aware of the launch of SEN Radio, Kiwi for Sport. It's their logo or their byline, and I think it's been a pretty successful launch thus far. Obviously started Monday through to Friday as we are today, and the predominant talk has been about sport, which is fair enough. But tomorrow we get some racing back on the airwaves, 8 till 10. There's a preview show with Louis Herman Watt and Michael Guerin. So I guess those people that are missing their 8 till 9 Pete and Albie show that you used to frequent every Saturday morning, Neil. So there's be a bit of preview going on in that show. And then from 1 o'clock onwards, Mark Claydon's team captain with Taina Walters and I think this week it's Steve Davis. That third guest is revolving, and from 1 p.m. all New Zealand races will be broadcast live on SEN Radio.
Brilliant.
So both meetings, Te Rapa and New Plymouth. Unfortunately, they don't have the license to broadcast Australian racing, so there will be no Australian racing. So in between, there'll be sort of chat, banter, tips, observations, and a few ads in between. But at least I think the best thing is, Neil, for the participants who are either going to or maybe leaving the races, they're driving home in their trucks and whatnot, they can turn on the radio and listen to some racing content without worrying about whether cell phone coverage is going to cut out and the streams freezes and all those issues that Watch and Bet does have when you are traveling. So yeah, it's a step in the right direction, that's for sure.
That's too right. Looking forward to that. Excuse me, got a frog in the throat. Now, last week, those punters who were watching the races at Ruakaka, which was the only meeting on last Saturday, I tweeted out in that first race that the winning rider hit the horse 6 times, which is up for debate. Okay,
6 before the 100.
6 before the 100. Sorry, yeah. And the rule is what?
No more than 5.
And what happens if they use it more than 5 times?
Well, it depends whether it's their first, second, or third offence.
Correct.
Or more. So, and there's a scale of fines, obviously.
Okay.
I would argue, and I admit I've only watched it once after seeing your tweets because I wasn't paying attention during the race. So I went and watched the replay, and I would argue the 6th strike was bang on the 100-metre mark. You'd say it was just before.
Well, that's what I was looking at very carefully. And with my software, I can bring a line out perpendicular from the 100-metre mark. And it was definitely about a length and a half to 2 lengths behind. But the question is, was the red mark 100 metres from the winning post? So
exactly.
I'll check that afterwards. It was a good
check that, because when the rail is out, I think I'm pretty confident in saying when the rail is in the true position, the 100-metre marker starts, the red paint starts at the 100 and finishes bang on the winning post. But obviously when the rail goes out, they have to add extra pieces of rail into, because the circumference is bigger.
Yep.
So when they add in those extra pieces, it can often move that last 100 metres of rail where the red paint finishes past the winning post, which then means it maybe starts at the 98-metre mark or 99 or 97, whatever. Yep. So that's another consideration. So anyway, but more importantly, Neil.
Hang on, we haven't finished on this topic yet.
Go on.
The second race was the obvious one where Kozion I'm Already hit the horse 8 times. He was actually fined $300 for overuse of the whip, beating El Noir, who Michael Monabi could see was controlling himself. So it wasn't more than 5 fits before the 100-metre mark. It was just the bob of the head. And in the court of law, you'd have to say I'm Already would have got beaten in all fairness by El Noir. And punters just missed out on El Noir. So
what's the answer? This is where we're going to have a bit of debate.
Yeah, that's where it needs debate.
A bit of R18 language coming up, is there, Neil?
No, not with me, mate. No, no. I think there has to be an answer to it, and a fair answer. I think from a punting point of view, owner's point of view, if your horse gets, say the owners or connections of El Noir, they got beaten by a horse that broke the rules, by a rider that broke the rules. And is that fair? No, if you win a sports game and you break a rule, usually they'll call it back and say no try, or if it's a forward pass or a knock on. Not always, but if it's viewed, and in the opinion of the bunker, if they feel they break the rule,
only if it goes to the bunker.
Or say it goes to the bunker. And in our case, the Stipes. In the Stipes' opinion, they feel as though the horse would have won or would have got beaten if it wasn't hit more than 5 times.
I think the problem with your analogy, Neil, is that one, it's either, yes, the man was in touch, his foot touched the line before the ball was planted, or it's either a yes or a no, and you've already admitted in this scenario, it's an opinion of people. It's not a definitive.
Okay, here's my response to that. And I won't swear once. You listen carefully. Right. And when horses bump down the straight or push out on the straight and that goes to inquiry, is it yes or no, the horse would have won or not? If the
It's an
horse,
opinion.
it's an
Correct.
opinion. So coming back
Yep.
to the whip rule, it's an opinion. So that's what the stipes are paid for. And their judgment and their opinion, would the horse still have won without the interference, without the overuse of the whip?
Yep.
That's my case.
Okay. I guess the problem the stipes might have, and I'm not a stipe obviously, is
Not yet.
how much. Yeah, I have a personality. How much did that horse gain an advantage by those extra 2 strikes? And for some horses, that will be more than other horses, surely. Each horse, I'd say, responds differently
Yep.
to the whip. As you see, some horses don't really need much whip. Others probably need more whip than average. So again, it's subjective. So,
Okay, then.
so you want to put more power into the stipes' hands for them to make the opinion.
100%. 100%. Or the other solution is ban the whip. That's easy, isn't it? Make it easy. Well, just they can carry the whip for safety reasons, but not be able to use the whip. It's going to happen one day. So why not bring it in?
Those people that back kick on at Hastings yesterday wished Scotty McNabb had a whip in his. He could use the whip. It all started floating in and gawking around. It would have won for sure, but
Yeah.
he had to stick to the rules. Actually, that would be interesting if he then drew the whip and that horse held on to win.
Yeah.
So he should be lose the race, disqualified altogether, or relegated.
Relegated. If you break the rule, just like any sport, if you break the rule and it's a rule that you shouldn't break, and that's serious enough to refine.
Yeah, the problem with this is you're looking at it from a punter's point of view, right?
Bloody hell,
But you got to remember there could be equally, if not more, punters on the horse that you're disqualifying or relegating than the ones that are getting promoted. So it's never favours the punter. It favours a group of punters to the disadvantage of another group of punters.
But it's also looking at the fairness point of view.
Scratching, you know, the argument the other day in Australia, a horse, if, for whatever reason, I can't remember now, weighed in light and got disqualified. Oh, it should just be a late scratching. Well, if it's just a late scratching, that saves all the punters money. Well, no, because then there's deductions for all the winning horses and whatnot from their dividend. So the punters never really are fully looked after. Generally, off the top of my head, I can't think of a scenario where if one group of punters is catered for, it normally comes at the detriment of another group of punters.
Yeah, maybe in the sake of fairness, it should be. Needs to be looked at anyway.
Fair, Neil. We all know that.
But I think you try and make it as fair as possible, especially when you've got a few dollars on. Anyway, I was hoping for a dead heat, actually.
It'll be interesting to, interesting. It's always good arguing with you anyway, Neil.
No. Anyway, it's still open for judgment anyway by
viewers. I still never see a tweet from you saying, bet of the day was XYZ horse and it got whipped 8 times before the 100, but take the money, ladies and gentlemen, and don't worry about the inquiry.
Watch the space.
Remember those ones?
No, I'll watch the space. Next topic. Okay, next topic was
Sports bet.
Oh, sports bet. Yeah, sports. We need that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, those bloody All Blacks were horrible that 2 weeks ago. It was not good watching. So we turned the page on that and we go back to the trusty AFL. And there's a game tonight at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. Port Adelaide, it's a home game for them, but being played in Melbourne due to COVID reasons. Taking on Collingwood. Collingwood are backing up after a game on Sunday, so only a 5-day turnaround. They've had about 3 or 4 key players injured and are out for this game. Port Adelaide get back a few of the younger players who are great players. And to me, Port Adelaide are trending upwards. Collingwood are trending downwards. 24.5 point start won't be enough for Collingwood. So take Port Adelaide minus 24.5 at $1.85, 4 units. Get your weekend off to a good start. And that starts about 9:10 tonight, Friday. So that's the GOAT Sports Bet of the weekend. Hopefully we can redeem ourselves after that shocker 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, oh, well, that's sport for you, isn't it? Right, nothing else we can mention. It's going to be a good day tomorrow. Weather-wise, it looks pretty good for both venues, I think. Not as bad as Wellington last week. Actually, I met the coach of the local AFL Howard Hornets coach here a couple of weeks ago and had a good chat. So I'm going to go along and watch a couple of games. He said it's really exciting. He used to play it in Australia.
Did he say what his AFL team in Australia was that he barracks for?
No, I didn't. I'll find out, actually. I'll
Yeah,
text them and find out.
always good. Yep.
Okay.
No, looking forward to tomorrow, and obviously SEN Radio is going to be a highlight. And see Neil tweet about all his winners that break the whip rule, be another highlight.
Yeah, no, I'll find one. It'll happen one day. Don't know when, but one day. And the other thing we didn't mention as well was that video of Tony Lee with two young fellas in the foreground.
Yeah, if you haven't joined the Facebook page, it's Tony Lee Appreciation Page. Brendan Popper was on course at Hastings yesterday, popped up to the box, recorded a race with his two young sons who are very keen racing enthusiasts, love the racing, love their league. We'll give them a big shout out because I know they'll be watching. Pops always will be watching because he'll be wanting to know what I'm backing in the punters comp so he can try and outdo me. So, great to have T. Lee invite them into the box, and yeah, it's a good video actually. If you go on the Facebook page, you'll see that bit of humour.
Actually, there are two things that should be on everyone's bucket list. Was that one is to get in the commentary box with T. Lee, listen to a race, or any commentator for that matter. It is great. I've done it before. The other thing is put your name down at the Auckland Trots for a ride in the back of the mobile at the start of a race.
Yes, you did send me that video.
It was just awesome. It was just amazing. Just the power of those horses. Yeah. And the call up and how everything operates and the concentration on the drivers' faces, who's looking to get out early. And it was, I'm going to do it again because I was videoing. I thought this time I'm not going to video it. I'm just going to watch it and take it all in. So if you get your chance, go along early to the Auckland Trots, put your name down in the office and they'll put you into a race, hopefully, if you get there soon enough. You've done it before, haven't you? Yeah.
And actually, I'll tell you what, the other thing is you can do a dual sulky. That's pretty cool too, where you're behind the horse, sitting in the cart with a professional. Yeah. I think I did mine with Peter Ferguson from memory. Good fun. It will stop you from bagging drivers when you see how hard it is, what they have to do in the split second they have to make certain decisions, and things can go wrong in front of you that you don't predict. So that was good fun as well.
Yeah, no, awesome. So many things you can do at the races these days. It's great. And obviously one of them is the backer winner that wins fairly in a race. Anyway, have a great, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I've been a rock and roll, Neil.
Yep, big day here. Righty out. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.